Begin, I want to recognize we have some city council people with us today. We got Councilwoman Ellen Robertson is with us. Councilman Michael Jones is with us. Councilman Andreas Addison is also with us today. I thank you guys for coming out for this announcement. This is an exciting time here in our city. And you all know we're making things happen. You all know we're doing exciting things, from building a transportation network that will connect our communities to jobs, and we're developing a plan to make our streets safer to walk and bike. And we're welcoming new businesses and hundreds of jobs that include workforce development so that more of our residents can have access to opportunity. Today, I want to talk to you about another opportunity. Just a few moments ago, my economic development team released on our city website a request for proposals to redevelop a major portion of the city's downtown area. The North of Broad downtown neighborhood redevelopment is more than a real estate project. It's an opportunity to help transform a major part of our city by putting underutilized and underperforming assets to work to fuel economic opportunity for our residents and improve their quality of life. The goals of this RFP are bold. First, we want to provide historic preservation and community revitalization. We seek to generate tourism revenue while achieving poverty mitigation through jobs and training, through job training. It aims to expand economic development and affordable housing opportunities. And we want to ensure sustainable development and investments in infrastructure. We expect proposals that have an equally enthusiastic and inclusive vision to benefit our city. I invite you to read the RFP for all the details, but I want to take a few minutes this morning to outline in general terms what we want to see and our reasoning behind the components of this project. Our proposal solicits plans to replace the Richmond Coliseum. The existing Richmond Coliseum is a 46-year-old decaying public asset that has become a public liability. It no longer meets the needs of our growing community, and instead is a drain on our budget of nearly $1 million per year. That's just for operating deficits. A new arena, however, has the potential to be a catalyst for significant economic development in the neighborhood and downtown. This economic development venture must be more than another bricks and sticks project. It must be an intentional vehicle for our values. The value centric to building One Richmond is our belief that this administration must play a major role in lifting people out of poverty. Let me walk you through the ways we see this project playing a specific role. Last week, we held a housing summit to discuss ways in which we can provide more options for residents living on modest incomes. We expect that any proposal submitted for this project to contain a meaningful housing component that responds to the full diversity of housing needs in Richmond, which would involve low income, middle income, and market value options, with the goal of creating an inclusive mixed income community. As you all know, our city is booming. On both sides of the river, we have new small businesses blossoming in once abandoned warehouse districts, cranes in the sky, building downtown high-rises, construction on every other corner. I'm sorry about that sometimes. But just a mile away from the site of our proposal, we have some of our poorest residents who face severe unemployment. People do not want a handout, they want a hand up. And the best tool to lift people up is a job. That is why we increased funding for the Office of Community Wealth Building to expand job training, and this is why our process will prioritize development proposals that contribute to poverty mitigation by providing jobs and careers for Richmond residents. Prior projects in Richmond have used minority business enterprise and ESB participation goals. This project will be of no exception. After reviewing the proposals, I expect the successful respondent to establish the the highest reasonable goals given the availability of minority and emerging small businesses for the scope of work envisioned by this project. All of Richmond must benefit from this development, not only after it is completed, but as it's being built. We also recognize the integral role of transit in development and economic growth. We believe this project should include plans for a new GRTC transfer station to replace the current interim transfer station. I've seen our hardworking residents standing in the rain and in foul weather trying to get into from their jobs and their appointments. They deserve a facility that treats them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. The Blues Armory is one of Richmond's architectural treasures, but it too has fallen into disrepair. We are asking that this proposal include the redevelopment of the Blues Armory building for an adaptive reuse in a manner that adds to the vibrancy of downtown while preserving its historic nature. This RP also calls for construction of a convention center hotel. The Greater Richmond Convention Center brings a significant number of individuals into the city throughout the year and adds to the vibrancy of our downtown. Recent hotel projects near the convention center have been successful, and we believe the market can support more hotel rooms in close proximity to its location. More rooms will increase our capacity to host large-scale events, and more competition will drive down room prices. Therefore, we will require proposals to include a hotel component at a minimum of 400 rooms and be in close proximity to the Greater Richmond Convention Center. As you will notice, the city or associated government entities own the majority of the property in this project area, and we are willing to consider the use or reuse of these properties in a proposal. In fact, several local government facilities, such as the public safety and social service buildings, are no longer well suited for the function and are not optimally located for our residents. Thank you, Councilwoman. We expect, however, that any proposal that seeks to utilize properties owned by the city or an associated entity for redevelopment will provide proposals that replace existing city facilities with more efficient facilities that more closely reflect our current needs as a city. Now, I've said a lot about what we want to see in these proposals. Let me take a minute to tell you what we do not want to see in a future proposal, just so everyone here understands. The city will not support proposals that incur any moral obligation or general obligation upon the city. I repeat, we will not issue moral or general obligation bonds to fund any proposal. I simply do not support, and I will not support, using our existing or future debt capacity to fund this project. We have too much to do on schools, housing, roads, and other city priorities to leverage our limited borrowing capacity for this redevelopment. However, we are willing to consider proposals that incorporate tax increment financing or the creation of special tax districts and the use of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Richmond or other issuing entities if needed. If needed. We are setting a high bar for our respondents. Well, that's what we have to do if we are looking for this sort of true neighborhood redevelopment. As I said earlier, all of Richmond must benefit from this redevelopment, and the time to act is now. That's why I felt it was important that we drive this opportunity, because this is our land and this is our city. This is going to be a highly competitive process, guys. I can tell you from my travels and meetings, as well as those taken by our economic development team, that there's considerable interest both locally and nationally in a project with as much opportunity as we have here. As a city without the ability to annex, we have only 60 square miles to work with, so we must get the most out of every part of our city. This is the beginning of a long process, and it starts with developers and having 90 days to make their best proposals. We look forward to reviewing what they come with, and you have my commitment, and I know I speak for everyone here in the city when I say we expect the best. We expect the best, and I will not accept anything that does not serve the best interests of our city. So let's go make it happen. Thank you. I will now take a few questions from media. Mr. Martz. I am well aware of their ideas, but as you heard here just moments ago, this is a City of Richmond project. Not any other entity in the City of Richmond. This is a City of Richmond project. A GRTC transfer station, a convention center, a hotel, a new Coliseum, affordable housing, the creation of a neighborhood in downtown. This is a Richmond project. I think that with the size in the RFP, that we request a 17,500 seat Coliseum.